The following video contains language that may be inappropriate for young viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Welcome to Behind the Bars, where we bring the unseen and the unheard stories from the depths of the prison system to the forefront. I'm your host, Jason Boss, and together we'll explore the madness, the chaos, and the harsh realities hidden behind the steel doors of prisons worldwide. From the local jailhouse to death row across the world, we'll show you the isolation, the seclusion, and the decades spent enduring unimaginable conditions. These are the stories of survival, struggle, and humanity in places most of us will never see. We're here to shine a light on what society often forgets, the voices of the incarcerated. Each story is real, each voice is authentic, and every moment reveals the raw, unfiltered truth of life behind the bars. Join me for a journey like no other, a journey into the darkness, the truth, and the resilience of the human spirit. This is Behind the Bars, real life, real stories. All right, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, I am honored and I have the pleasure to sit with you with Terrell Deshaun Perry, who is coming to us live from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And Terrell has been in the system for a very, very long time. And for those of you who have not heard any of our podcasts, guys, we are up to, this is the actual fourth podcast that we are doing. 1 and 2 are out. We'll get 3. It should be released by the time you guys hear this. So if you have not met Terrell Deshaun Perry, I would like to introduce you to him right now. Now, my brother, how the heck are you doing?
Oh, man. I'm all right, man. Feeling good, feeling energetic, man. Mainly feeling positive, man. Ready to just, you know what I'm saying, let the people know who I am, know what I do, man, what I can help, what I can bring.
Beautiful. And we have been, again, for those who have not picked up on the story, it is best if you go back to the very first podcast and listen in on this, because what we hear from our brother Terrell is, at least what I have gathered, is that Terrell has lived a life, or at least a young life, without parental guidance per se from a father's standpoint. From the guy in your life who's going to grab you behind the ear and drag you and tell you to stop and to do this and to get your life in order. Terrell did not have that father figure in his life. And we have made it all the way to when he was 16 and 17 years old with the story. He was living with I think it was his mom's brother.
My uncle.
Yeah.
My uncle in Missouri, yeah.
And what happened with that is he ended up hanging over there just kind of as an emergency from his mother to get him out of the way of what looked like criminal mischief or a future of problems, and she shipped him over there. Well, he got busted, and Terrell is heading back, I believe, to his mother, and that is where the story picks up. So if I missed anything with that, my brother, let me know, and if not, take it away.
No, that's it, man. That's it, man. It's just, he got locked back up for that parole violation. I want to say federal parole violation, but so I headed back from Texas County, man. I just, turned 17. Well, I just turned 18, matter of fact. So, I was 17 when I went up there with him, but I had just turned 18 that October. So, in the next month, right around November, is when I, got locked up and I had to come back. So we can go to so I'm getting back. So I'm back with my, my homeboys in the hood, man. Because I was gone for the summer. So I'm just walking around with them, talking with them, riding, and just get back to me and what's going on. So
now, what state? What city and state were you in between the 17 and 18?
Texarkana.
Texarkana.
Okay. Arkansas. Yeah, Texarkana, Arkansas, man. So. But I go down, so I go from Missouri back to, the bottom of Arkansas. And so this is where, like I said, things start getting kind of, downhill basically, because we went to a junior high basketball game. So when we leaving the basketball game, it's we come in, we do have kids coming, walking down the street. It's a bunch of people out there, man, and so me and this guy had some words or whatever, and so we had a fight. We in the middle of the street, we fighting, and so I'm on top of them in the middle of the street. Cars is backed up and they going around and honking their horns and stuff. So while I'm holding them down and basically, trying to just make them look bad, honestly, in front of everybody. So my friend, my homeboy, you call him J-Rod, his name's Jason Williams, and he at this time he came over there, and this guy that I had on the ground, he had chains and like medallions on his neck and chains and stuff. So my homeboy came and he snatched him off his neck. And I was like, man, you ain't gonna need these no more, all that old, just the kind of tough young guy hood type stuff. And so we didn't think nothing of it, because to us it's just, kids having fights, and snatch the chains or whatever. So to us it's not serious. But this guy's mother was a teacher at Arkansas High School in Texas County. So when he leaves, he go tell his mom that we robbed him at gunpoint. Which we didn't. He said we robbed him at gunpoint and took his chain from him. Yeah. So, so the next day I found out that the police is actually looking for me, and I don't know why. So, so I go to my homeboy Jason, the one who snatched the chain up. Yeah, he in a wheelchair now. He got shot up real bad. But this is before all that. So I go to his house. I tell him, he's like, yeah, man, I heard you looking for us too, man. So I'm like, man, like, what happened? He told me, like, the officers questioned his mother, told his mother, like, they're looking for us because we were supposed to be robbed the teacher's son at gunpoint and stuff like that. So I ended up getting caught. I was over at my homeboy's house, man, Spirit Morgan, rest in peace, he died. And, so I was over his house when I got caught. I ran out the back door, and I ended up getting caught by the police. So I get locked up. And I'm thinking, like, I'm a kid. Like, it's just, so I figured, like, truth come out. What happened, they're going to just probably, because I'm used to going to juvenile. I never been to the county jail, but they took me to the county jail this time, so now it's kind of getting real for me. So they ended up charged, like, fast forward a little bit, they charged me with aggravated robbery, violent group activity. And they tried to give me 30 years in the Arkansas Department of Correction for that, for little kids having to fight, snapping chains. And so I stayed up there in the county jail over a year. And my homeboy Jason J-Rod, he actually got out, and he ended up getting 10 years for it. They dropped all the stuff and just for a regular simple robbery charge. But he had to get 10 years in Arkansas penitentiary. So when I heard that, they were still offered me 30 years and 20 years with 10 suspended, which is another fancy way of them saying 30 years. So, but I ended up getting 10 years assigned to my ball partner. So I go to Arkansas penitentiary, man, which was supposed to be 18 months. It turned into 4 years because, the dumb decisions, they tried to make me go to the field and chop cotton and them on some, I'm not a slave, this is 1999, I'm ain't no slavery no more. So, yeah, so I ended up going to the Arkansas penitentiary and I stayed longer than what I was supposed to.
Okay. So you were 18 years old. Or 17 or 18 roughly. What were you 17 or 18 when you went to jail?
Well, I was 18. I was 17 when my uncle got when I went up there with my uncle, and I had turned 18 in October, and he got violated his parole like a month after I turned 18. So I got sent back to Texas County when I was 18.
So at 18 years old, they sentenced you to how long? 10 years for snapping a chain?
Yeah, I was in the county over a year, so I turned 19 in the county, in jail. And when I turned 19, I got 10 years for that, basically the fight. basically a fight. My homeboy snatched the necklace off his neck while I was holding him on the ground. Really, we just fighting. I was just talking noise to him. So, I got 2 years for that. I almost got 30.
Now,
they tried to.
That seems pretty hot on was this a first-time offender in this jail?
Yes, sir. This happened in January. I just turned 18 in October of the prior year. In 98 or 97, I turned 18, 98, and January of 98 is when it happened, when I got locked up for this. So, I hadn't been 18 for like 4 months. 4 months. So
now, why do because that's a heavy sentence for the first-time offender on this thing as an adult. Why did they try to give you 10 years? Why didn't you get probation or why? It doesn't seem like they're that heavy-handed on every single person that comes in for a first-time offense. What happened, or why did you get owned?
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, because I was up there and I actually had to stay up there a year basically to get 10 years. Cause like I said, it was offering me an aggravated 30-year aggravated robbery. At that time, Arkansas system, if you get 30 years, you have to do 21. You have to do 70% of the time you get on all aggravated time in Arkansas at that time. So I would have to do 21 years at that time. So, I stayed up there basically a year just today, get tired of offering me that and offer me something lighter. So, I ended up they dropped the aggravated, and I had to plead out to a simple robbery. They dropped the violent group activity, they didn't plead out to a simple robbery. Or I can go to trial and get 30 years aggravated. So, obviously I had to take the 10.
Yeah. Now did they bring up like your juvenile record and thing inside of this court? Why did they drop the? It feels like they dropped the hammer.
It's what it felt like me and my mom too. So I now they did bring it up because remember when I left Helena, the guy was like, "I'm gonna give you a chance to do something different, start over." Yeah. So and then I went to a boot camp for a juvenile boot camp in Texas County while I was there. The first year I was there, I went to a boot camp because I took a charge for my homeboy. It was a pistol in the car, a gun in the car, and I had already had a couple of gun charges as a juvenile, but they dropped them before I moved to Texas County. So I figured if I'm in Texas County, it's my first little charge as a juvenile. So I was 16 at the time when I first moved to Texas County. This is before all this other stuff. So I took the charge. I told the officers it was my gun or whatever. They ended up sending me the summer of '96 to a boot camp, a juvenile boot camp. Now they tried to bring me up, but it really wasn't enough for them to put the issue and try to offer me 10 because. But the lawyer did say that they was going to try to use that if I go to trial and give me 30 aggravated years. So I was kind of forced to take 10 because it could have been much worse. Yeah,
that's the crazy part about the system, man. They force you to take something lesser than what it could be.
Yes.
Okay, so 1998, you're 18 years old, somewhere roughly around there. You have now received.
Yes,
how long of a sentence did you receive on this? As that?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years. Class B felony, Arkansas. 10 years. I did. I was supposed to do 18 to 20 months, and that's it. 18 to 20 months, and I can get out for parole. And seek parole, have a possibility of getting out. So, but I go down there and I go to. I didn't know at the time, but your first time down in Arkansas Penitentiary, they have 10 years or less. You get to go to this boot camp. You can do 4 months and get out, automatic parole, if you complete the boot camp. So I go to I qualify for the boot camp, so I signed up to go. So I go over into this boot camp, and while I'm there, the officers, this guy had asthma real bad, so they sprayed him, with the gas and the mace or whatever, and he died. So the inmate died. He told him he couldn't breathe, and they didn't believe him. They said if he talks to us, telling us you can't breathe, then you breathing. Like, and so we running this obstacle course. We passing by this guy laying on the ground with the drill sergeant and the officers around him. So basically talking about you just don't want to run this course. You just want to get out doing this course. You don't run the course. So
Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Boss, and I'm the host of Behind the Bars. First, I want to thank you for watching, sharing, and supporting our channel. This project means the world to us because it's about giving a voice to the unheard, the men and women behind the bars who share their raw, unfiltered stories of life, mistakes, redemption, and lessons learned. But here's the reality. Because of the nature of our content, Behind the Bars will never be monetized by YouTube, and that's okay. We're not doing this for the money, but to keep telling you these stories, to keep bringing you interviews from across the plains, we need your help. Right now, we're sitting on over 15 incredible interviews that are waiting to be edited and shared. We've got the footage, but we need the resources. More interviews mean more editors, more work, and a bigger team to make this vision a reality. And that's where you come in. By becoming a Patreon today, you're not just helping bring us these stories to life. You're also getting exclusive access to behind the scenes conversations and untold stories that won't be available on YouTube. These are the moments that take you deeper into the lives of our interviewees, as well as the challenges and triumphs we face while we are creating this channel. If you've ever been moved by one of these stories, if you believe in the power of second chances and in a shining light on the human experience, please consider supporting us. With your help, we can reach further and roll out even more of the content you love. So from the bottom of my heart and from all of us here at Behind the Bars, thank you for being a part of this journey. Much love to you, y'all, and we'll see you in the next episode.
anyway, he died, Brother Jason, man. He died that night, man. And I really didn't want to be there anymore, so I told them, like, y'all not finna kill me, so please send me away from over here. They didn't want to. They wanted me to complete it because they were trying to hide it, cover it up. So I just did everything I could to get kicked out of the place, like not doing anything of a military background, like to make your bed up and then shave and all that. I just quit doing all of it. So eventually they sent me back to from the boot camp to the actual penitentiary. And like I said, I ended up doing 4 years, right at 4 years. So during that time, I didn't know that this guy's family, the inmate that died, his family was suing the Arkansas Department of Corrections. And so I ended up being a witness for this guy's family against the Arkansas Department of Corrections. So I'm going back and forth to the federal court and giving statements of that day and what happened to the guy. So
that's not good.
So,
I mean, that obviously puts you on a like the guards aren't going to be real happy with you at all, right? I mean,
in a sense, yeah, but no, because now if anything happened to me, like I'm going to this federal courthouse in a couple of weeks, so y'all can't do that to me. So if you do, then I'm definitely going to be like, hey, this is what happened to me for testifying against, So they really couldn't. So it was kind of like bagging to a corner. But I think that's why I made parole, because I ended up making parole from this unit. My first parole, they hurried up and got me up out of there. Because I was the only one still locked up from that group where the guy passed away.
Okay, so what year did you make parole then, the first time?
2000.
So 2000. So you were in there like 2 years from 90?
I'm trying to think. 2000, December the 4th, 2021.
2001.
I'm tripping. Yeah, I keep getting the numbers mixed up in my head.
That's cool.
2001. Yeah,
2001.
2001.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you were roughly in there about 3 or so years?
Yes, and I did a year in the county.
So you were 19 when you hit the pen, right? Or were you 18 when you hit the pen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was 22 when I got out.
Okay, so you were 22 years old. Okay, so, and do you remember the guy's name that died on that obstacle course thing you were talking about?
Oh, man. No, I do not remember. I
Okay.
do not remember because we had just met that day.
Okay.
He died that day.
Okay, so that's crazy. So let's go back to that moment just a little bit. And the thing is, I remember they had in Idaho when I did time in Idaho. That was the only reason that I didn't end up doing major time is because they had one of these little military programs that you're talking about there. And they were either going to ship me off to the military program or they're going to ship me off to the other arm of that, which is like the business arm, where they either put you in the military or they put you in a work camp. And, that's the one thing that I didn't do is I didn't do that thing. But I know Idaho had that exact same program where they take you there and it's like a boot camp and, it's like, you're people are yelling at you and screaming and making you get up and do push-ups and all this crazy stuff.
Oh, man. Yes, sir. It's just like the Army.
Yeah, so you saw this cat bite it. At that point, you're deciding that, was that the last straw when you saw that guy on the ground dying and he died? Was that the last straw that you wanted to be in this program?
Yeah, because I'm like, man, this is how they tried to cover it up. This is what really made me want to leave. This is what happened. That day, this is the first day, the first orientation day, we did the drills, we did the running back and forth, the obstacle course, which is cool. And then this guy died, but we didn't know it at the time at first. So the guy that's over the boot camp, the Arkansas Department of Correction boot camp, he put us in the room at night around like 8:30 or something. So that night, now it's dark outside. I know it's late. So they'd never done this before, and he was like, he passed us a piece of paper, was like, yeah, y'all just kind of write a statement about, what happened that day and, how was it. I know they was yelling at y'all and doing that typical Army or military type stuff. So it was like, so we all wrote down like, because we're not thinking about this guy that was on the ground. So we wrote out like, typical day, exercise, they yelling, which we expect and all that. So we slid the papers, everybody slid their papers back up to this guy so he could look at the papers, and he was like, I just wanted to inform y'all that the guy that was on the ground and said he couldn't breathe, that we took to the hospital, he died. So we like, what? He was like, yeah, he passed away, man. So we like, hold on, why didn't you tell us this before you made us write these statements out this paper? And he did not give us the papers back. To redo it or nothing.
So basically, they had you write a report before they ever told you this guy was dead.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. Yep. Okay. Wow, that's insane, bro. This is a great story, but this story happens like over and over and over and over. There's always a cover up, bro. Okay, wow. Okay, so we got 8 minutes left on this run. Okay, so let's take it from here, bro. Okay. You get out in 20 out in 2001-ish, somewhere around there.
Yep.
Okay, and you're paroled to Arkansas, right?
Arkansas, Arkansas, Texas County, Arkansas. I'm paroled to Arkansas. I get out, and I'm going through the typical, struggles of a guy that's getting out of the penitentiary. And I'm used to being 11, 46, 18. That was my Arkansas Department of Correction number. So I'm not used to signing papers or trying to get a driver's license, having a state ID, because like I said, when I got locked up, I had just turned 18 like 3 or 4 months prior. So I never had the opportunity to do none of this, to be a man, basically, do responsibilities of a man, basically. So when I get out, I'm learning, I'm doing everything. I go with my sister, my older sister, man, whom I love to death. My older sister, Shricia, she's showing me how to pay bills, basically, and pay car notes and pay water bills and pay insurance and stuff, because I never knew how to do it, and she was showing me this.
And she was in Texarkana?
Yes, sir. She was in Texarkana, Arkansas at the time. So I paroled to her house.
Oh, okay, you paroled to her house.
So she stayed in a nice neighborhood, and wasn't going on. So they let me go to her house, man. But so when I get out, so I'm going through it. So then I see around January, February, my little sister's birthday. So there was this and this is very relevant. There was this lady I met. Her name was Shricia Forbes.
It was what? What was it? It was what, Forbes?
Texarkana.
Yeah.
Her name is Shricia Forbes.
Forbes.
Yeah,
okay.
That was she ended up being my son's mother.
Oh.
But I had just met her. I just met her at this time. And so we just getting to know each other, everything. We talking, and we began a little relationship. This was like my first real relationship, being out of the penitentiary as basically a man. So but she had some issues with her mom stuff. She moved out of the house with her mom, and she moved to the Texas side of Texarkana. Like I said, the Texarkana, Arkansas, and Texarkana, Texas, with the state line in the middle. So, so I'm going back and forth from Arkansas to Texas, talking to, spending time with her, because I say about a month or two prior to that, after that, she moved over there, she told me she was pregnant.
Oh.
My son. Yeah, so I'm like, man, I haven't been out of the penitentiary 4 months yet.
Okay, so hold on. Let me get a date on this. So was that 2002?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2002. So 2002, you realized your old lady was pregnant. Okay.
Yes, she was pregnant, and she told me she was pregnant. So I'm like, man, more responsibilities, So now it's like I'm putting in application after application after application, trying to get a job, trying to do it, right how they actually do, because then I'm on parole, and I have to do 20 hours of community service each week I'm not employed, which was a parole stipulation in Arkansas, and I had to take a course, like a work to show you how to do resumes and stuff like that. Show you how to do interviews. I have to take that class too once a week. So I'm doing all this, and she ended up pregnant, which was, I figured she would, but so I got these responsibilities, and I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to do it right. I'm not smoking weed. I'm not doing any drugs. I do drink. I was drinking, but not like a heavy drunk or nothing, but like occasional. But I didn't do no drugs, I didn't smoke weed or anything, no pills or nothing. So, because I'm trying to get a job, I'm trying to do it right. So, so the lady that she was staying with, my son's mother was staying with, my girl, she was staying with, the lady she was staying with, they get into a argument about something. I don't know. I wasn't there when it first started, but when I thought, so now she's like, I don't want to stay over here no more. I'm like, well, I'm still staying with my sister. I haven't been out of the penitentiary like 4 months. I don't know, could you stay over here at least till I get a job so we can save up, and, by the time you have a son, we have a place to stay. But it didn't work like that. She was adamant about me, so now I don't have a good source of income. So I did what I knew when I was little, just take stuff from people. So it kind of drove me back to that.
Okay, so that's 8. You were 18, 19, 20, roughly 21. Is this a 21? And you broke bad again?
Yes.
So
yes. Well, actually, I had turned 22. See, I turned 22 at the end of the year. So the following year, I'm like, this happened in 2002, so I would be 22.
So
because I turned 22 at the end of the year.
So 2022, you feel the stress of the kid coming on.
Yes.
You feel the stress of not being able to get a job. You feel the stress of relationships and all this stuff, and being able to provide for your old lady. And you couldn't find a job, and so you decided to break bad. And what did that look like?
Basically, I started selling weed.
Okay.
I started selling weed, and I started selling weed and taking stuff from people, not like kick door robberies or not like kick door robberies or anything like that. But it's like, it just, I don't know, I'm just doing not real harsh crimes that you can say, but they were crime like selling weed, mostly the main thing. And that was.
Okay. All right. So I think this takes us to like a tremendously good breaking point, because I know we only got like a couple minutes left on this, and before this lady comes on and lets us know we got 1 minute. But my brother, this was a tremendous podcast. I mean, this was a very, very.
We have 1 minute left.
Intriguing. There she is. There she is, just on time. That chick is always on time, bro. So let's take this last minute, and I want you to speak directly, if you will, please, to the people and give them some hope on this stuff. You know, you've seen all of these directions. You broke bad, and it never seems to get better. What can you leave with these guys as advice in their life to make their lives better based upon the events of yours?
Hold strong to your faith. Hold strong to what you believe in. Because in the toughest times, it will always help you and uplift you and push you through to the end. Because this story has a bunch of odds and ends and stuff that ended bad, but I'm telling you, at the end, it all worked out wonderfully great to where I'm at now. You will see. So just hold on to your faith. Hold on to your peace.
Thank you for using Securus.
Beautiful. Thank you.